Assalamualaikum and good morning. Can everyone hear me? Okay, for today, we'll be talking about candlestick formation, and then we'll move on to obviously BBMA basics, and then finally, we'll finish up with multi-time frame analysis. So during the webinar, if you have any questions, just post it up on the chat box. Okay. All right. So okay. So candlestick formation is a very important matter when it comes to forex trading, and especially when it comes to um, BBMA. Okay, the reason for this is we need to understand between two things, which is candle break and candle reject. Okay. Okay. Just give me a few minutes here. Somebody's having issues with sounds. Okay, so what I have here in front of you is basically the candlestick formation, and let's say for example that we are looking at the charts on H1 time frame. So basically what I have here is moving average high 5, Mahi 5, Mahi 10, and moving average low 5 and Malo 10. So what you need to understand when it comes to forex trading, when you look at the charts on your MT4 platform, that there is an X and Y axis. Okay, so basically what you have here on the bottom is obviously, sorry, just don't mind my drawing here, is time, and what you have on the vertical axis is price. Okay, all right. So let's say for example that we're looking at H1 and the time now is for example 8 p.m. Okay, what you need to understand when it comes to these two pairs of indicators, that Mahi 5 and Mahi 10 are sell indicators, and Malo 5 and Malo 10 are buy indicators. It's fairly straightforward that we do need to understand that we need to buy at the bottom and sell on the top. Okay, so what I have here for example is a candlestick that has just opened at about 8 p.m. So let's say for example that the price right now it's at say for example that this is about $1 and you have about 50 cents here. Okay, please bear with my drawing. So okay, so let's say for example that this is the price range that you have over here. Okay, all right, so just bear with my drawing over there. Okay, so let's say the candle opens at 8 p.m. at exactly price of $1. Okay, so after 15 minutes at 8:15 the price went down, let's say about 50 cents. Okay, and then another 15 minutes passed by, the price went up to about 75 cents. As soon as it went up, you notice that the candle color has changed, and from a sell candle, it is now a buy candle. Okay, and what are the things that you need to notice, that the position where the candle opens hasn't changed at all. Regardless where the market is going, the candle open will not change. Wherever it register on what price level, it will stay there. Okay, so when it went down here at the price, let's say 50 cents, and then another 15 minutes it went up, it left a trail. This is what we call It's more like a footprint of where the candle has been before. Okay, so this is the lowest point where the candle has been, and when it went up, it leaves a shadow, or what we call this candle wick, candle shadow, or some people call it tail. Okay, so another 30 minutes, then the price went back up again. Let's say about $1.75, and then finally at 9 p.m. when this candle closed, because we're looking at H1 here, so candle's life is about 1 hour. So the candle closes at 9 p.m. Okay, so that's where the candle closed. Okay, let me just pause here for a bit. Okay, all right. So we know that that this is a buy candle because a buy candle opens at the bottom and closes on the top. And what we can see here, it left a shadow on the moving average MAI 5 and MAI 10. So this is what we call candle reject. Okay, because the candle couldn't manage to break these sell indicators. Okay, let's move on over here. Okay, so this is the candle low, which is the lowest price that the candle has traveled, and this is the candle high, which is the highest price this candle has traveled. And obviously from the candle open to the candle close is the candle body. Okay, so now since 1 hour after 8 p.m., then it's 9 p.m. So another candle opens exactly where the candle closed before. Okay, so sometimes we do see that the candle is registered on a different level. It sometimes it's not on the same level as the candle close from the previous one. So sometimes that is registered higher or lower. It depends on during that time when it closes. On once the new candle open, the price has changed on the split seconds and it registers on a different level. That's one particular reason for that. Sometimes you do have a bigger gaps. Um, that's when the market is closed, and during the weekends there are probably price changes during the weekend. That's why you have gaps in the forex trading charts. Okay, so now let's talk about this new candle here. It opens at exactly where the initial candle has closed. After 50 minutes, it went back up to MAI 5 and MAI 10, and then another 30 minutes at 9:45, it fell down to MALO 5 and MALO 10, breaking those two lines over there. And finally, at 10 p.m., it registers below MALO 10. So what it means here that this candle has managed to break through MALO 5 and MALO 10. So when you have a candle that managed to break MALO 5 or MALO 10, but the most important one is MALO 5, that it tells you that the price is going down, that the price has broken through the buy indicators and the sellers has won. Okay, so these two are very important, that we need to understand that whenever a candle rejected a sell indicator or probably a buy indicator, that this is entry for sell. Okay, we call it re-entry in BBMA, but obviously this is an entry for sell. And here, down here, you know that the candle has broken through the buy indicator, so you know for a fact that this is a candlestick direction, that it tells you the price is going down. Okay, so let me have a quick drawing over here. Let's say you have a candle here, for example, that rejects MALO 5 and MALO 10, then obviously this is a buy entry because it rejected the buy indicator, so this is a buy entry. So with that, I hope you guys understand between the two, reject and break, because these things are very important when it comes to BBMA trading. Okay, all right, let me just clear this up. All right, so just a quick revisions over here, that whenever the price reject buy or sell indicators, then obviously it's an entry for buy or sell. But whenever a candle breaks through a buy indicator or probably a sell indicator, then you know that it's a candlestick direction. Okay, let me move on to the next point. Okay, can you guys see the Harvest MT4 platform over here? Let's open, say for example, USD CAD. All right, let me just sort these things up. So we already talked about candle break and reject. So obviously now we need to talk about um, the Bollinger Band. Okay. So basically BBMA is a combination of two indicators, which are the Bollinger Band and also moving averages. What you need to understand and notice about these two things, that it belongs to one particular indicator, which is trend. You have Bollinger Bands and you have moving average at the same category here, which is trend. So basically these two indicators tells us where the market is going. So it gives us a rough idea where the market is heading. Okay. So first things first, when it comes to Bollinger Band, that you have to understand that Bollinger Band its main function. Okay. So let me just write it down over here. Okay. 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 So this is the main function of the Bollinger Band. So we must understand exactly what this means. Okay. We must understand that the Bollinger Band, its main function is to contain all moving averages and candlesticks within the Bollinger Band. Anything that is outside the Bollinger Band is abnormal. Okay, so there should be an explanation why things are outside the Bollinger Band. So when it does, we need to understand why it's doing that. Okay, so Bollinger Band, just a quick introduction over here. Let me just zoom in over here. Okay, so Bollinger Band has three basic line, which is the middle BB, the one in the middle, top BB, and low BB. But obviously, what I practice is from the teaching that I had from my teachers. So we use basically the deviation 1. Okay, so the settings for Bollinger Band is obviously exactly the same, period 20, deviation 2, and you apply this to close, and obviously whatever color that you like. However, we add in deviation 1 in the middle. So how you add this is you press add on the levels and you add 0.5 and minus 0.5. So that's how you get the division 1. Okay, what you need to, hang on, let me just help this guy out. Okay. Alright, so what you need to understand that between middle BB and top BB, this is the buy zone, and between middle BB and low BB, this is the sell zone. So I already explained that top, middle, and low, and then you have the division ones in between. Okay, there are two types of Bollinger Band, which is the momentum Bollinger Band, so it's over here, and the sideways Bollinger Band. Okay, so let me just highlight this for you. This is a momentum Bollinger Band, and this is sideways Bollinger Band. As you can see, it's fairly obvious that the candles are moving sideways. Okay, uh, what you need to understand when it comes to momentum Bollinger Band, the most important thing that you need to see here on a momentum Bollinger Band is that both top and low BB are open. Okay, so you can see over here. Let me just show this here. So you see that the Bollinger Band is open both and top of the Bollinger Band. So this is a momentum Bollinger Band. It shows you the strength in market. As you can see here, there's a strength here. The candle is going up. Okay, so when you have a momentum Bollinger Band, you need to understand and you need to know what is the definition of candlestick momentum. Okay, so let me just type it down here. Okay. Okay, let me just. So now this is the definition of a candlestick momentum. That you need to understand that a candlestick momentum is a candle that closes outside the momentum BB. So I already showed you the momentum Bollinger Band that both top and low BB are open, and what you have here is the candlestick that that closes outside the Bollinger Band, because you need to understand that this candle is a buy candle. Okay, okay, I think we do need to take a 5 minutes break because it's prayer times here. So let me just stop us here at 5 minutes, then we'll reconvene again while we sort out some guys with audio issues. Okay, be back in 5 minutes. Okay, let's continue. Where we left off is obviously that there are two types of Bollinger Band, and the first one is obviously the momentum Bollinger Band. The definition of momentum Bollinger Band is obviously you have top and low BB opening up towards the uh, opposite direction. So you have top BB going upwards and low BB going downwards. So this is a very good example of momentum Bollinger Band. And next thing that you need to understand that about the candlestick momentum, the definition is obviously that the candlestick that closed outside the momentum BB. Earlier on, we did revised on candlestick formation. So basically, what we have here is a buy candle. So a buy candle opens at the bottom. Okay. So you know that the buy candle open at the bottom, and let me just close this on the top. Okay. So this is a good example of a candlestick momentum. You have a candle that is closed outside a momentum Bollinger Band. Okay, and over here on the left, we can see that this is a momentum Bollinger Band because top and low BB are pointing to the opposite direction, and you have a sell candle. Okay, you have a sell candle here that opens open at the top and closes at the bottom. Okay, so this is the candle open and this is the candle close. Alright, so you know that this is a sell candle because it opens at the top and closes at the bottom, and the close of this candle is outside a momentum Bollinger Band. So this is a momentum will be, and this is a candlestick momentum. Okay, so that's the definition of a momentum BB. Now what we need to understand is obviously sideways Bollinger Band. So a sideways Bollinger Band is, as you can see here, it's quite obvious that both top and low BB are pointing to the same direction. Although the market, okay, let me just delete this box over here. Let me just unclick this. Okay, so although the market is moving upwards, okay, but you know that the price is moving sideways on same direction. So this is sideways Bollinger Band. Okay, what you need to understand during the sideways Bollinger Band, when the candle rejects or breaks top or low BB, that this is an extreme. Okay, so there will be a price reversal back to middle BB. Okay, as you can see here, another thing that you need to understand when it comes to sideways Bollinger Band is that um, during the momentum BB, there is a component of sideways Bollinger Band, and during momentum, there's also a component of sideways Bollinger Band. So what do I mean by this? Okay, as you can see here, this is momentum BB. However, after the momentum BB, you already have a component of sideways Bollinger Band as soon as the market has stopped moving downwards. Also over here at the top, this is a momentum. As soon as there is momentum, okay, as soon as the candle is too far away from the Bollinger Band, then the price starts to move sideways. So this is a sideways Bollinger Band. Okay, so we need to understand about this two things over here. So first thing is we need to return back here to know that the Bollinger Band, its main function is to contain all moving averages within the BB. Okay, let me just put it over here. Okay, I just lost it. Okay, so now we have everything in place. So The main function of the blinker band is to contain all moving averages and the candlestick within the BB. So as you can see here, this candle is too far away from the blinker band. So obviously the blinker band now tells the candles to move sideways so that this candle over here is within the blinker band. Okay, and over here as well, the blinker band is a sideways blinker band. So obviously if there is a candle that is too far out from the blinker band, then it will tell the candles to move towards the blinker band. So as you can see here, whenever there's a break on top BB, then obviously the next target will be middle BB. Okay, and over here on the left, we have a candle that is close too far away from the blinker band because the blinker band is over here. So now the candles are moving sideways to make sure that these candles are within the parameters of the blinker band. This is the main function of the blinker band. You have to understand this. We are just talking about candlesticks right now. So later on, when we move on to moving averages, then you will see why this is an important matter. So you have to make sure you remember this definition. Okay. All right. I already explained that this is a momentum blinker band, and during the momentum blinker band, as soon as the candles are too far away from the blinker band, then candles will move sideways. So there's a component of sideways blinker band within the momentum blinker band, and obviously during the sideways over here, you know for a fact that whenever the candle breaks or reject top BB or low BB, then the candle will go towards the middle BB. Okay, so let me just find a good example of sideways BB on how the division one works. Okay, or we can just talk about division one over here. Okay, so let's say for example that this candle over here, let me zoom that in. So now we're talking about sideways blinker band. So every time the candle reject or break, the price will move towards middle BB. Okay, so now as you can see, this candle over here opens on the top and closes at the bottom. Okay, so obviously this candle traveled up and rejected top BB, and then it travels down but rejected division 1. Okay, so when it rejected division 1, then the next candle opens exactly on the same level over here. This candle tries to break division 1, but it couldn't manage, so it went back up, breaking through top BB, which is a sideways blinker band, and closes outside the blinker band. So obviously the next candle open will be on this level. This level tries to go up, but because of the main function of the blinker band, and this is a sideways blinker band, then it has to go back down inside the blinker band. So now it went back down, breaking through top BB and division 1. So now the candle closes over here. This candle is the first candle that managed to break through division 1. Okay, so the next candle open, it tries to break through to go up to top BB again, but it couldn't manage to do that. It rejected division 1, and finally it reaches to the middle BB, which is extreme B. So candle break or reject, it will go back to middle BB. So now when this candle managed to break through middle BB, but unfortunately it couldn't manage to break through division 1, so it went back up. The next candle tried to do the same thing, but it rejected division 1 and went back up, breaking middle BB, and gets stuck here at division 1. So you have to understand during sideways blinker band that division 1 is functioning. So these are the lines where the candle needs to break or reject for it to travel along the blinker band. So that's how the sideways blinker band works. Okay. All right. So let me find another example of sideways blinker band. Okay. Okay, let me just see this. So as you can see over here, let me just zoom that out, that this, although it's moving upwards, it is still a sideways blinker band. Okay, this is very important for us to understand that Although the price is moving upwards or downwards, however, it is still a sideways Bollinger Band. And you have to understand that the sideways Bollinger Band has already started as soon as there is a candle that is too far away from the Bollinger Band. Okay? Okay, let me just fix that up. Okay, so as you can see, this is a sideways Bollinger Band, but as soon as I zoom this in, you'll notice that okay, that this is a sideways Bollinger Band over here. Okay, and although this is a momentum Bollinger Band, as soon as the price moves sideways, then you know that this is a sideways Bollinger Band already. Okay, so as you can see, candle reject top BB, then it goes back to middle BB. It managed to break through middle BB and division 1, so it rejected low BB. So it has to go back up to the middle BB, reject and break top BB, goes back up to middle BB, but all four candles within these 4 hours couldn't manage to break through middle BB, so it went back up again. Okay, so finally, the candle, even though the candle break over here, this is still a sideways Bollinger Band, but the candle managed to go down to middle BB at this particular juncture. So you have to understand the the first thing that you need to understand is the definition of the Bollinger Band, and the second thing that you need to make sure that you need to know what type of Bollinger Band that you are looking at right now. Okay, so I think that's it for Bollinger Band. So next we'll move on to um, the moving averages. Okay, let me just open another chart here so I can use this one later on for my class. Okay, USD CAD. All right. Okay, let me just have a quick pause over here. We'll talk about moving average high 5, Mahi 5. Okay, give me 2 minutes here just to check something out. Okay, so now we're going to move towards the moving averages. So what you need to understand about these moving averages that I already explained earlier, that is also telling us where the trend is going. And obviously moving average high is Mahi 5 and Mahi 10. There are sell indicators, and Model 5 and Model 10 are buy indicators. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is obviously the Mahi 5. So moving average period 5, linear weighted, applied to high, and whatever color that you like. So obviously, what we need to understand about MA5 high, okay, MA5 is, okay, let me just fix this. There are two functions for this. So obviously the first one is to detect extreme A, okay. Let me just, all right. Sorry about this. Let me just fix it up for you. So to detect extreme A, the next one is obviously is a point of entry sell. Okay, so all right. So MAE5, there are two functions. The first one is to detect extreme A. So the definition of extreme A. Okay, let me just type that in. Extreme A. Definition is okay. So an extreme A is an early signal of a possible trend reversal. Okay, so what is extreme A? Let me just fix that up over there. So extreme A is obviously whenever the moving averages it's outside Bollinger Band. Okay, so that is extreme A. So let me just scroll over here to find extreme A. So obviously um, we can find over here that this is an extreme A. The MA is outside of the Bollinger Band. Let me just bring this things over here so it'll be a lot easier for me to explain later on. Because I'm seeing a better setup over here on the left. Okay. Okay. So the function of my okay, let me just put that simplified like that. So the first one, MA5, is to detect extreme A, which is MA outside of the Bollinger Band. Okay, and obviously, second one is a point of entry, whether it's buy or sell. Okay, depends on which MA you're looking at, MA5 you're looking at. Okay, so all right. So what we can see here is obviously the MA5 high is outside the Bollinger Band, as you can see over here, and also here. So it tells you that there is a possibility of a trend reversal. Okay, so over here, MA is outside Bollinger Band tells you that the price is might be going to reverse. Okay, so obviously over here is also the same. Okay, so let me just add in moving average 5 low to see there's a buy setups over here. Okay, so as you can see here, there's also MA5 low outside of the Bollinger Band over there. Okay, so basically the definition the function of MA5 is to detect extreme A, MA outside Bollinger Band, and extreme A definition is an early signal of a possible trend reversal, but it's not confirmed yet until you have an MHP. Okay, and the next point, next function is obviously is a point of entry buy or sell. So what do I mean by this? So every time when we look at MA5 high, every time the price reject MA5, whenever the price reject MA5, then the price is gonna go down. And you can see here, the candle rejects MA5 high, so the price went down. Okay, as soon as it went down over here, as you can see, candle rejects. However, the candle rejects Malo 5 over here, so this is also a point of entry buy, as you can see, because if you understand how the candles are going right now, this is a buy momentum Bollinger Band, so the price is moving up, so this is a buy entry. So this point of entry sell here is only temporary because of this is TP chip. Okay, so that's what you need to understand when it comes to MA5. So there are two functions. First one is to detect extreme A. The second one is a point of entry buy or sell. Okay. Um, so let's add in MA5, MA10. Sorry. So set too high. That's yellow. Okay. And another one. Okay, so when you have all four moving averages, then things are getting really confusing right now. Okay, so let me just delete the buy indicator for now. Okay, sorry, let me just delete the buy indicator for now. So let's focus on the sell indicator first. Okay, so obviously MA10, there's only one function for MA10, which is for a better point of entry. Okay, so it's a much stronger, much valid entry. Okay, let me just, sorry, I need to, okay, so you have to understand that whenever the candle rejects a certain indicator, which is buy, and in this case a sell indicator, whenever the candle rejects a sell indicator, then this is a sell entry. Okay, so as you can see here, um, over here, that the candle rejects Mahi 5, and also obviously we need to revert back to our initial initial function of the Blinker band. The Blinker band is to contain all moving averages and candlestick within the BB. So as you can see here, there are two things that's happening outside over here. You have the candles outside of the Blinker band, and you also have both moving averages outside of the Blinker band. So obviously the price needs to reverse in order for this candle, in order for the candles and moving averages to get back inside the Blinker band. So first thing is you need to relate to the function of the Blinker band, and next one is obviously you need to um, take into account the functions of the moving averages. So let me just find a re-entry cell that is much more valid. So let's look into a much more cell setup over here. Okay, so this one is a very strong re-entry, a cell entry. So what do I mean by that? Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, so this candle, you have to understand that it rejects Mahi 5 and Mahi 10. Okay, it rejects both cell indicators, so it's a point of entry cell, a much more valid point of entry cell. However, you also need to take into account that it rejected top BB, rejected Mahi 5 and Mahi 10, it rejected deviation 1, and also rejected middle BB. So as you can see, there are about 6 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry, 5 lines, 5 lines that it couldn't manage to break. So it rejected 5 different lines. So what you need to understand about these moving averages is PBMA uses the moving averages as a dynamic support and resistance. So basically these moving averages are our source of information when it comes to support and resistance. Okay, so here you know for a fact that the candle resisted five different lines here, so it tells us that this is a very valid re-entry. Okay, so that's one re-entry, and you can see here Mahi 5 only rejected, so it went down, so that's a point of entry cell. And let me just find another example of entry cell over here. So here's another example, and also over here. So candle rejected Mahi 5 and Mahi 10, and here candle rejected 4 division line as well. Middle BB, MAHI 5, MAHI 10, and division 1. So it tells you that this is a very valid point of entry cell. Okay, so I think that's MAHI 5 and sorry, MA5 and MA10. Let me just delete this indicator so I can put in the buy indicators. Okay, so very straightforward. Okay, so as you know that every time the candle rejects Malo 5, which is particularly Malo 5, the point of entry cell. So here the candle rejects, so the price went up. Also over here, the price went up, and obviously over here as well. So this is a point of entry buy. Let me find another example of that. Okay. So in this particular juncture over here, this candle rejected middle BB, Malo 5 and Malo 10. Also over here, this candle rejected division 1 and also Malo 5. So this is a point of entry buy. So you need to be able to read what the candle managed to break or managed to reject, because that will be a very important information for you. So as you can see here, this candle over here rejected Malo 5, and this one is a very good point of entry buy because this candle rejected Malo 5, Malo 10, and also mid BB. Okay, so it's a very strong valid re-entry for buy. And obviously this is also a valid re-entry for buy because you are now buying on the buy zone over here. Okay, all right, so I think that's about the moving averages. I don't want to confuse you as of yet, but what you need to understand when it comes to moving averages, when it comes to this pairing, that there is also another there are a few things that I need to highlight over here. Okay, you need to understand the characteristics of how these moving averages are traveling together, because there are buy indicators, they are in a pair. So there is a crossover modes that you can see here. Okay, whenever the MA5 it's on the top and the MA10 is at the bottom, this is a buy, buy mode. Okay, so the price is going to go up. As soon as there is a crossover, 5 at the bottom and 10 on the top, then this is sell mode. Okay, so you need to understand about these two things. Let me just add in the sell indicators now. Okay, one more. Okay, so as you can see here that these pairs are obviously working together. You have a crossover here telling you that MA5 is below of MA10, so this is a sell mode, and also this is a crossover sell mode. Okay, what you need to take into account over here, that as soon as you see that the opposite indicator are moving towards each other, for example over here MAHI 5 is closing in towards Malo 10, then you know that the price is going to go sideways. And what you need to understand, when the price goes sideways, it is creating a re-entry on a higher time frame. Okay, so as you can see here, as I explained earlier, this is a sideways Bollinger Band. So when you have a sideways Bollinger Band, you know that there is a re-entry on a higher time frame. Okay, so it tells you that it is creating a re-entry on a higher time frame, such as over here. Okay, so that is very important for you to understand. So I think that's the moving averages. So let me just open another one so I can use this charts later on. Okay, so let's talk about MA50. So in the BBMA notes, MA50 is fairly straightforward. Whenever the MA50 is above the middle BB, it tells you that the price is going downwards. Okay, it's a downtrend. And obviously, when the MA50 is below mid BB, then you know the price is going to go up. This is an uptrend. Okay, that's the basic stuff in the notes that you have. Okay, from my own understanding and from my own observation, I noticed that MA50 is also going outside of the Blinger band, and as you know, as you already seen in the channel, I always talked about whenever MA50 is outside the Blinger band, because as soon as the MA50 is outside the Blinger band, you know that the candles will go sideways, because as you go back to the first definition of the Blinger band, that all moving averages, that it has to contain all moving averages and candlestick within the Bollinger Band. So there are two possible ways for the MA50 to go back in. Okay, so it's either the candle goes towards MA50 or it goes away. Okay, for this example over here, the MA50 is outside the Bollinger Band, but the candles move away from it. Okay, so you can see here the Bollinger Band is over here right now. As soon as the candle move away from it, it created a momentum BB. Okay, as you can see, so it created a momentum BB over here, which then opens up the BB from, you know, as you can see, initially it wasn't at the MA50, then now the Bollinger Band opens up to create a momentum over here. So now the MA50 is back inside. Okay, then the other one is obviously the candles moving towards MA50 to create over here to create to make the MA50 go back inside the Bollinger Band. So you need to take note of these things. As you can see here, the candles move towards MA50. Okay, so now let me load up BBMA. So while we're talking about MA50 right now, and if you know that the market is downwards, it's going down, as you can see over here. Okay, the market is going down. Whenever you know that this is a downtrend, every time that the price or there is an extreme at MA50, then this is a re-entry on a higher time frame. Okay, so for example, you have this bit over here. Okay, that's a, let's say we have H1 over here, so this is probably a re-entry sell on H4. Okay, and there's another one, there's an extreme here, and MA50 it's outside of the Bollinger Band, so this is probably a re-entry on H4. And another one, MA50 outside the Bollinger Band and the candles moving sideways, so this is probably, there's an extreme here, which is extreme B. The Bollinger Band the candles reject top BB during the sideways Bollinger Band, so this is extreme B. So this is probably a re-entry sell on H4. Okay, so right now MA50, the candles break through MA50 over here and it went back up over here. So whenever it managed to break through MA50, then there is a possibility of a re-entry on a much higher time frame. So this is probably a re-entry sell on a daily basis, for example. Okay, so let's check H4 first. Okay, so as you can see here, H4 you have re-entry sell, re-entry sell, re-entry sell, and you see there's a re-entry here because the candle rejected division 1. But if you look at D1, this is probably a re-entry sell on a D1 level. Okay, so that's a re-entry sell on a D1 level. So by looking at MA50 and how the candles react to MA50 and how the price travels to MA50, then you know that this is a re-entry on a much higher time frame. Okay, so let's go back here. So this is an H4 time frame. So let me just identify a few re-entries on a daily basis over here, okay? So I have MO50 below middle BB over here. So let me just delete all the boxes I created earlier on. So I know this zone here is probably a re-entry by on daily, re-entry by daily. Okay, again here, daily re-entry, and then you have MO50 outside Blinger Band over here, daily re-entry, and then obviously your price went over. So this is probably a re-entry on a weekly basis. Okay, so let's go to daily first. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 re-entries, and obviously this is probably a re-entry on a weekly level. Let's go to weekly. So it doesn't show on a weekly, but it's obviously a re-entry on a weekly level. So by just looking at MA50, it tells you where the market is going. Okay. However, now when we look at the weekly, let me just delete all this stuff over here. Then you can see USD CAD is at the MA50 level, so it tells you that this might be a re-entry sell on a monthly level. Okay. So although the monthly doesn't indicate the rejection of Mahi 5 over here, but weekly tells you a different story. So obviously there's a possibility that the price is going to go up. However, in order for it to go up, it needs to have a buy setup on a daily basis. Okay, so that's how you use the MA50 to identify all of those point of entries. Okay, I think we need to take a 5 minutes break, and then after the 5 minutes break, I'll talk about multi-time frame analysis. And I think that's it for today. Inshallah, we'll finish up in about 15-20 minutes. Okay, let's continue. So before we move on to multi-time frame analysis, then I think we should touch on the signals and setups. Okay, so in BBMA, there are 4 different types of signals and 2 setups. What you need to understand about these signals and setups that we are supposed to entry at the setup only. So there are only 2 setups. So I'll explain that in a few minutes. Okay. So let's talk about signals and okay setup. So the first signal is obviously CSM. Second one, CSAA. Third, CSAK. And finally, extremes. Okay. So let me just put that over here. Oh my goodness. Okay. So signals. So the first signal we already learned earlier, candlestick momentum. So candlestick momentum, the definition is whenever the candlestick closes outside of the momentum Lingard band. So this is obviously a momentum Lingard band. Okay. So you have a candle that is closed outside of the Lingard band. So this is a candlestick momentum. Okay. And then next one is candlestick arah awal, which is candlestick early direction. Okay, so candlestick early direction means that let me just find one. Okay, over here, that after an extreme A, there is a candle that breaks through Malo 5 and Malo 10. So this is candlestick early direction, candlestick arah awal. And candlestick arah kuku is obviously a candle that managed to break through middle BB, Malo MA5 and MA10. For this example, this is extreme A cell. So obviously this is a candlestick arah kuku cell. Okay. So what we're looking at right now over here is obviously there is a signal over here. So this is extreme A cell. Okay. Okay. Because I think I need to explain the 6 different types of extreme. So let's go for A, B. Okay, extreme A. I already explained that earlier on. Extreme A is whenever the candle, whenever the moving averages is outside of the Lingard band. Okay, let me just. Okay, extreme CA, CB, extreme D, okay, and finally extreme division 1. Okay, so I think everyone already knows about the signals CSM, CSR awal, CSR kuku. And I'm just gonna go through quickly on extremes, the different types of extremes. So whenever the MA is outside the Lingard band, this is an extreme A. Okay, extreme A by extreme A cell. Okay, and extreme B. Extreme B is obviously whenever the Bollinger Band is, let me find a sideways Bollinger Band. Whenever the Bollinger Band is sideways, whenever the candle rejects or breaks top or low BB, this is extreme B. Okay. Next one, extreme CA. Extreme CA is a rejection of ML50 at top BB or low BB. Okay, so let me just find one over here. Let me find a good example. Okay, as you can see here, this is extreme CA. Okay, over here. Rejection of ML50 at near top BB. So as over here, okay? Let me find extreme CB. Is a rejection of ML50 near middle BB. So this is extreme CB. So to make it fairly simple, just say that every time the candle rejects ML50, that's extreme C. Okay? Alright, so where did that go? Okay. Then the next one, extreme D. Let me just find a good example of extreme D over here. Okay, so this is a good example of extreme D. Oh my goodness. I lost it. Okay, this one over here. You have candlestick momentum, and after that the candle moves sideways without the MA outside of the Blinger band. So when you have this, as soon as you have a candle that rejects top BB, so the candle couldn't manage to break through top BB, there's no more momentum without the MA5 going outside of the Blinger band, so this is extreme D, sorry. Okay, so finally extreme deviation 1. Okay, extreme deviation 1. So extreme deviation 1 is obviously whenever the candle rejects division 1 during sideways. So obviously this is sideways, so this is extreme D, division 1 over here. So the candle couldn't manage to break through division 1. So this is extreme deviation 1. Okay, so I think that was a quick intro to all the different types of extremes. So now let's move on to setups. So setups, there are two types of setups. The first one is obviously MHB, and the second one is re-entry. Okay, so this is the two setups where we are supposed to entry, not at the signals. Okay, so you have to understand that signals are just indication, they are not point of entry. Okay, so this is very important for you to understand that you should be entering at signals and not at sorry, you should be entering at setups and not the signals. Okay, let me just fix this up. Okay, hope that works. Alright, so the first setup is obviously MHB. MHB happens, there are four characteristics of MHB. Obviously it has to happen um, after an extreme A. Okay, so obviously it needs to happen after an extreme A. There should be a candle that couldn't break top or low BB. Okay, so let's find that here. So this is extreme A. You have TP Wajib and the candle went up. Okay, but it couldn't manage to break top and low BB. So now this over here is the first candle that couldn't manage to break top BB, and then the next reverse candle should be this over here. So we need to mark the highest candle body of this MHB. Okay, so next one is the reverse CS. Okay, so obviously You have this candle over here that couldn't manage to break top BB. This is the highest body at this particular point, and then you have a reverse candle. For this MHB to finish up, then you need to have a retest, MHB retest, okay? So that's the fourth characteristics of MHB. So first, you have extreme A, TP wajib, you have a candle that couldn't break top BB. Also, this one is the highest candle body, so you have to mark the highest candle body. And then there is a reverse candle, okay? So this is the pairing. And then you can see that the Bollinger Band is already arching over here. So you know for a fact that the price is already contained. So now this is a setup, so we need to know how we entry sell on an MHB sell. Okay, let's say for example that whenever during the retest, because that's one of the reasons why we need to have a highest body marking. Okay, so this is the highest body marking, this line here, because this is the highest candle at this particular point. Okay, so whenever there is a retest, whenever the candle goes back to this point over here, then it should be a point of entry sell. Okay, so let's say for example this candle over here, the first retest goes up here, so we entry sell, for example. Okay, so this is just an example of let's say for example that we entry sell at this particular point. Okay, let's say we entry sell at this point. So during the process of few hours, as long as there is no candlestick momentum buy over here, then this MHB is still in place. Okay, so the MHB, the definition of MHB is the market has lost its volume to go up. Okay, so there is a price reversal, provided that there is a candlestick arah kuku. Okay, so let's say for example that you entry sell on this MHB up until your cut loss, your stop loss should be if there is CSM on top BB, CSM buy. So that is a signal. Okay, if there is a CSM buy, that is a signal for you to cut your loss. Okay, but if there is no candle that managed to break through top BB, then you should hold your sell. Okay, let's say for example after CS arah kuku, then this validates this MHB. Okay, extreme A, TP wajib, then you have MHB. This MHB validates extreme A. This CS arah kuku cell validates your MHB. Now we need to know that is this CS arah kuku valid or not. So what you need to know, what you need to check is you have to mark it like this, and you have to go to a lower time frame to make sure that there is candlestick momentum. Okay, let me just, okay, so over here on this mark you have a candlestick momentum because you have top and low BB pointing down upwards and downwards. So this is a momentum BB, so that validates H1 CS arah kuku cell. Okay, so this is now validated, and if you check at H4, there shouldn't be a re-entry buy. So H4, it managed to break through the Malo 5. So this tells you that the price is going down. Okay, so now we already validated MHB. So later on you need to check at what do you call this, at the channel, that after CS arah kuku there are 4 different scenarios that will happen. Okay, so I need you to check on the channel later on, and then I'm pretty sure that it's there. You just check CS arah kuku SOP. Okay, so here when the price went down here and you see that MA50 is going down, okay, over here, so you have to understand whenever the MA50 is outside of the Bollinger Band and the price is going towards it, and this is an uptrend. okay, this is an uptrend, then this part over here is probably a re-entry buy on H4. Okay, so you have to understand this concept. Okay, you have to understand this. If there is an extreme where MA50 is also doubling a band, then this is a re-entry on a higher time frame. So if you check at okay, let me just zoom that in. If you check at H4, this is the box earlier on, then this is a re-entry buy. Okay, so go back down over here, the price went back up and it went back up to the initial H1 MHB retest. Okay, so this is because now we have the highest body here, so we need to move it a little bit higher. So now this is the MHB retest. You have 1 and you have 2. So you should be able to entry a few more sell entries at this point. If you didn't manage to TP this sell here, then you should be floating during this going up. Okay, so now you add on more sell entries over here and then the price went down. Okay, when you have CSM, then you need, this is another signal that tells you that you need to hold your position. Okay, so you're holding your position and then the price went up here, so at Mahi 5, then this is a re-entry sell. Then let's say, for example, you entry, if I put a box over here, let me just delete this box, then this box over here should tell us the story that the price is at MA50 of M15. Okay, let me just find that box. Okay, so as you can see, the price is at MA50 of N15. This is the re-entry sell at H1. Okay, so that's, it doesn't show here that the candle rejects my 5, but M15 tells you exactly the story. So let's say, for example, you entry sell again at this point. Okay, then there's another CSM, so you hold sell, and then finally you see this one, MA5 rejected Mahi 5, sorry, the candle rejected Mahi 5. So let's say, for example, you entry sell again at this point, and then all of a sudden the price went up here. Okay, so whenever the price is at MA50 and you know that there is a confirmation here that there's price reversal, MA50 is above mid BB, so this is now a downtrend on H1. So this is probably a re-entry sell on H4. So as you can see, that box, re-entry sell on H4. So let's say, for example, because you're floating here, you don't want to take that extra risk of losing the profit from what you have entered earlier on, so you just played it along. Then you have CSM. As soon as you have another re-entry over here, let's say, for example, that you get excited and you entry another one here at this re-entry, because you only entry at only 2 particular things, which are setups. We entry sell over here because this is an MHB sell setup. We entry sell over here because this is a re-entry. We entry sell over here because this is a re-entry. And there's another re-entry over here. However, the price went up, but now you see that there's an extreme at MA50. So you know that we could probably put another sell entry over here. Okay? If it breaks, then we have to cut loss or hold depending on whatever entry that we have on the top. So the price went down, CSM, then you know why you need to take profit on the very lowest one, because this candle is too far away from the Bollinger Band. And if you go back to what the Bollinger Band's main function is to contain all moving averages within the BB. And this candlestick momentum is too far away from the BB. So obviously the candle will move sideways and upwards. Whenever the candles move sideways, then it will create a re-entry. So this is a re-entry sell. So let's say, for example, you entry another sell entry over here. However, it didn't went down. So this is an MHB at this point. So you're just holding your position until you see that MA50 is outside of the blinker band. So basically this part over here is probably a re-entry sell at H4. Okay, so let's say let's check over here, then that's the re-entry sell at H4. Go back to H1. Okay, where is that? Okay, so re-entry sell over here. However, we floated for a while and the price went up because this is a sideways Bollinger Band. Okay, sideways Bollinger Band. And you have to understand that whenever there is a double extreme buy, there is no TP Wajib. The price is gonna go break through middle BP. This is what they call a double extreme. Okay, so the price went up to top BB, but you know MA50 is outside the blinker band. It is creating a re-entry on a higher time frame, which is H4. Now the price, there's a CSM, then you hold your position. As soon as there is a re-entry over here, for example, let's say you get excited again and you entry sell, and then the price went down and it went up. Okay, it went up. Now you have CS arah kuku buy. Then you know for a fact that you are entering a buy setup on this particular juncture. Okay, because you have extreme buy over here, it rejected top BB, it went back up over here. However, there is an MHB on this point. This is extreme buy, MHB, and then you have candlestick arah kuku buy. And for whatever reason, let's say for example, you entry sell again at this point. So this is already floating. You enter sell again over here. As soon as there is CSM, this 1, 2, 3 should be cut loss already. Okay, or if you want to hold it, it's totally up to you because you have a lot of support on the top. Okay, so it's totally up to you as long as you know that this let's say for example you enter sell there, there's another enter sell here, and you see MA50 over here, you enter sell again, and you know that this is a downtrend at H4 and the price is going up here to create re-entry on D1, for example. So maybe that's the reason why it goes up. So as long as you can explain to yourself why the price is going up, then it's totally normal. So let's say for example that you hold your position and you have another entry over here, but these 2 points are still floating, so you just hold it until you see this one candlestick momentum, you have re-entry. So you add on another entry over here, and you know MA50 is outside over here, so it tells you that H4 is creating another re-entry sell. Okay, so obviously this over here is a good point of re-entry. So now MA50 is outside the blinker band, so it tells you that this is probably another re-entry sell at H4. Okay, as you can see. However, H4 after CSM, it has re-entry, but there is a component of market has lost volume because extreme buy. You have candlestick arah awal, and then you have a lower MHB on this point. This is extreme D. Okay, extreme D. So there's a possibility that the price is gonna go to middle BB. Okay, so I hope that um, this explanation on signals and setup is also based on the MO50 and also multi-time frame analysis I combined together. So is there any questions so far when it comes to looking for setups and signals and stuff like that? So let me have a quick 5 minutes break, and then we'll come back for another 5 minutes for question and answer. Okay, I think I'm going to close the session of webinar for today because it's late already and I have another appointment. So if I have time tonight, if I don't have any friends coming over for class, then inshallah tonight I'll talk about multi-time frame analysis. But for the rest of you who wants to review, after this I'll post the recorded version at the channel so you guys can check again later. Okay, thank you very much guys. Assalamu alaikum.